Have you ever wondered why some people drift away just when your life starts to rise? Why silence grows louder when you share good news? Why someone close to you, maybe a friend, a colleague, even a family member, suddenly becomes cold, distant, almost indifferent? This isn't just awkwardness. It's not random. It's psychological. Carl Jung understood this better than most. He warned us, what you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. And this includes the truth about others and yourself. When you begin to succeed, whatever that means for you, it shines a light, not only on your growth, but on their stagnation. And light always casts a shadow. What you may not realize is that your success can unconsciously trigger a psychological wound in others: envy, comparison, inadequacy. But it won't come labeled as such. It comes in the form of veiled criticism, disguised concern, backhanded compliments, or, most often, silence. And if you're not conscious of this, you may begin to shrink yourself to keep others comfortable. Jung called this confrontation with the unconscious individuation, becoming your truest self, even if it costs your old identity. And often, that cost is the people who only loved your shadow, not your light. So in this video, we'll uncover why not everyone wants you to succeed, the shadow motivations behind subtle sabotage, and how to walk your path without guilt, even when the closest voices fall silent. Because to grow, you must outgrow, not just yourself, but sometimes the people around you. There's a loneliness that comes with self-growth, one people rarely talk about, because we imagine that when we heal, succeed, or change, the world around us will clap, embrace us. But sometimes it recoils. Maybe you've experienced it. You stop people-pleasing. You change your boundaries. You start waking up earlier, meditating, building something. You're still cheering them on, but they've gone quiet about you. You offer good news, and they change the subject. Or friends start teasing you with a tone you can't quite read. They say things like, "You've changed. Don't get too full of yourself. Must be nice to have the time for that." Or worst of all, they say nothing at all, and it stings. Because these are people you trusted, people you rooted for, people you thought would rise with you. But here's the truth. Your growth, no matter how innocent, can unintentionally trigger other people's shadows. Carl Jung called it projection. We must remember that every human life touches hundreds of others. The effects of our words and actions can be incalculable, and they may last a long time. That subtle withdrawal you're feeling, the jokes, the passive-aggressive remarks, the energy that feels off when you enter a room, that might not be your imagination. You're not alone in feeling this. You're not ungrateful. And no, you're not too sensitive. You're noticing a psychological phenomenon Jung spent a lifetime studying: the shadow. And sometimes, the brighter your light shines, the more clearly it reveals the unhealed shadows of those around you. Let's pause here. Have you ever felt this shift from someone you cared about after you started changing? A comment, a look, a silence. Just reflect on it in the comments. Let's look deeper at what's actually happening underneath, psychologically. Carl Jung once wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But what if the reverse is also true? What if everything that elevates you, everything that inspires envy in others, is actually showing them something about themselves that they're not ready to see?" You see, Jung understood something most people still don't: that human beings are not entirely conscious. We walk around with stories inside us, stories we didn't write. They were shaped by parents, teachers, failures, past wounds, old fears. These unexamined stories form what Jung called the shadow, the rejected, unlived parts of ourselves. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. When you embody one of those repressed parts, confidence, creativity, independence, you become the living symbol of what they denied themselves. And that is unbearable for the ego. This is why people close to you can become your quiet critics. It's not because you hurt them, it's because you remind them of what they haven't yet become. Jung called this process projection, when people unconsciously place their rejected traits onto others. So when someone mocks your ambition, they're likely mocking their own abandoned dreams. When they distance themselves from your growth, they're unconsciously distancing themselves from their own stagnation. Let's break it down. The shadow. All the parts of us we repress because we think they're unacceptable. Projection. When we unconsciously see those same traits in others and react with irritation, jealousy, or judgment. So if you're growing, internally, spiritually, professionally, and someone close to you resents it, pause and ask, what part of themselves might they be running from? Now, this is not an invitation to judge them. It's a reminder to protect yourself. Because when someone hasn't made peace with their own shadow, your light becomes a threat. It's not your job to dim down. It's their job to integrate. And if they can't, you walk on with compassion, but without guilt. Carl Jung believed that individuation, becoming your truest self, isn't just a psychological process. It's a spiritual rebellion. It means stepping outside the roles people assign you and claiming your inner authority. But that also means breaking the unspoken contracts, the ones that say, don't change too much. Don't outgrow the tribe. Don't make us feel left behind. Imagine for a moment, you're climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the clearer the view, but also the thinner the air, the fewer people around you, and the more your voice echoes when you speak. That's what success or healing can feel like. Beautiful, expansive, but different. And that difference is what others unconsciously respond to. Jung reminds us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But few talk about the cost of that privilege. The cost is shedding layers that make others comfortable. The cost is tolerating being misunderstood. The cost is losing some people along the way. Let's look at common emotional patterns you might encounter. Backhanded praise. I could never do that. You're so intense. It sounds like a compliment. But the tone feels off, dismissive. It's a subtle resentment. Silent withdrawal. They stop checking in, stop inviting. You're left wondering what you did wrong. But it's not about the wrong. It's about their discomfort. Increased advice. Suddenly, they're coaching you, doubting you, warning you. Underneath is fear, not yours, theirs. Here's the part that hurts most. It often comes from those you love. Not haters, not strangers, but friends, siblings, even parents. Why? Because your transformation challenges the systems they've depended on. You used to be the one they vented to, or the one they outshined. Now, you're becoming whole, balanced, clear, and that threatens the unconscious agreement they had with you. But here's the invitation. Can you still hold love while setting boundaries? Can you honor your growth without resenting their reactions? This is the dance of individuation, and it requires compassion, not compromise. Carl Jung believed that we wear masks, he called them personas, to gain acceptance. But the longer you wear a mask, the more people fall in love with it, not with you. And the moment you take it off, they feel betrayed, not because you lied, but because you stopped lying. And the truth has consequences. Here's the raw truth. Some people were never clapping for you. They were clapping for the version of you that didn't shine too brightly, that didn't challenge their comfort, that didn't remind them of what they gave up on. And now that you're changing, now that you're rising, they're uncomfortable because your freedom reveals their self-imposed cage. So I want to hear from you. Comment below. Have you ever lost someone because you finally chose yourself? Was there a moment when your growth triggered their silence? Let's talk about it in the comments, because your story could give someone else the courage to keep going. This path may feel lonely, but it is sacred. Jung saw individuation not as separation from others, but as reunion with the self. It means you may walk alone, but you're no longer lost. You may be misunderstood, but you finally understand yourself. You may be criticized, but your soul is finally here. Let me ask you something vulnerable. Have you ever found yourself dimming your light just to stay connected to someone? Maybe you played small so they wouldn't feel insecure, or downplayed your win to avoid the silence, or hold back your truth to keep the peace. If so, you're not weak. You're human. But awareness changes things. You don't have to shrink to be loved. You don't have to trade belonging for safety. Drop your answer in the comments. Tell us one fear you're ready to face as you become more you. Your courage might just unlock someone else's. Because here, we're not faking fine. We're not hiding the cost of growth. We're walking through it together. Next, I invite you to watch our upcoming episode, How to Stop Chasing Approval and Start Becoming Whole, where we explore how to reclaim your center in a world wired for validation. If you feel this ache, the ache of outgrowing your old life, subscribe, not just to follow, but to remember you're not alone. This community is made for those who dare to grow, even when it hurts. Here's the truth you've probably sensed all along. To truly evolve, you will have to let go of who you were, and sometimes of who they need you to be. Carl Jung didn't sugarcoat this path. He called it the process of individuation, not a gentle stroll, but a psychic rebirth, a tearing away from masks, roles, and conditioned patterns, until only what is essential remains. It's messy, it's disorienting, and it's liberating. But how do you keep growing when it threatens your relationships? How do you walk forward when every step feels like a betrayal? Step 1. Accept the grief. Grieve the version of yourself they loved. Grieve the version of them that you thought would stay. Because growth doesn't just give, it takes. It asks you to choose truth over comfort, soul over safety, alignment over approval. And that's not easy, but it's necessary. Step 2. Set boundaries with grace, not guilt. You don't owe anyone the performance of your old self. You don't owe everyone access to your becoming. Jung believed that boundaries are not walls. They're filters. They allow love in and keep distortion out. You can say, I'm no longer available for this dynamic. I've changed, and I know that's uncomfortable. I'm still me, just more of who I'm meant to be. It's okay if they don't understand. Your healing doesn't need their permission. Step 3. Anchor into something deeper. The old version of you was shaped by reaction, pleasing, proving, performing. The new you is shaped by reflection. This is what Jung meant when he said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that privilege comes with solitude. So build new rituals. Mornings where you listen to yourself first. Journals where your rawness isn't edited. Quiet moments where you remember, you are not broken, you are becoming. Now that you understand why people react this way, you don't have to personalize their projection. You don't have to collapse in the face of their confusion. You can bless them, love them, release them, and keep going. Because your life isn't meant to be a popularity contest. It's meant to be a pilgrimage to wholeness, to integrity, to your actual self, not the version that kept everyone else comfortable. Carl Jung's work wasn't just intellectual. It was intimate. He lived it. He lost relationships. He walked away from institutions. He let his public image collapse to protect the truth of his inner world. That's what real growth demands. Not just knowledge, but the courage to live it. So here's what you do when your success triggers others. You breathe, you bless, you continue. Because shrinking won't save them. And staying small won't save you. You're not here to be tolerated. You're here to transform. Transformation is rarely a clean break. It's a slow shedding. And sometimes it hurts more than staying the same. Because even as we claim our growth, something in us whispers, you're being selfish. They'll leave you. You'll end up alone. These aren't just doubts. These are inner defenses, guardians of an older identity. And they're loudest when we step into something new. Carl Jung teaches that the shadow isn't just what others project onto us. It's what we suppress to survive. And often, we've silenced our ambition, our joy, our clarity for so long that reclaiming them feels wrong, like betrayal. There is no coming to consciousness without pain, Jung wrote. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. So when we finally face it, the soul pushes back. And so do the people who've only ever known us in our half-light. Let's be honest about the real challenges this path brings. 1. Internalized shame. You start wondering, am I arrogant for wanting more? Is it wrong to want different things than my family? Who am I without their approval? This shame isn't yours alone. It's inherited. It's ancestral. It's the psychic inheritance of systems that reward sameness and punish differentiation. But here's the truth. Your becoming is not a rejection of them. It's a remembrance of you. 2. Fear of abandonment. Sometimes when you speak your truth, you lose people. They drift, they distance, they diminish what you've become. This isn't always malice. It's dissonance. They don't know how to relate to you. That's no longer seeking permission. And that can feel like grief. You'll want to go back. You'll want to tone it down. But Jung reminds us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That privilege sometimes costs familiarity, but it buys you freedom. 3. Guilt for outgrowing. This is the hardest one, especially in tight-knit families, in cultures that value collectivism, in communities where humility is often code for silence. You might feel like success is betrayal, that to thrive is to abandon those who stayed stuck. But growth isn't betrayal. Abandoning yourself would be. Here's a reframe. Your healing can become their permission. Your courage may one day become their mirror, but only if you choose to go first. So here's my question for you. What's the hardest part of this process for you? What resistance comes up as you start to grow? Is it fear? Is it guilt? Is it that ache to be understood? Share in the comments if it feels safe. Even one word. This space is yours too. Let's return to Jung. One more time. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of its parents. When you choose growth, you aren't just healing yourself. You're releasing a generational backlog. You're refusing to carry what was never yours. And sometimes, that's the most loving thing you can do. But yes, there will be days when it hurts, when you long for the comfort of old patterns, when silence would be easier than truth. On those days, remember, your journey toward wholeness is not selfish. It is sacred. And the shadows you confront now, they might just be the reason someone behind you won't have to. Let's bring it all home next. At a certain point in this journey, something quiet shifts inside you. You stop asking for applause. You stop flinching when the group chat goes silent. You stop explaining your joy. You begin to realize they never had to understand. They only had to let you grow. And if they couldn't, that's not your failure. That's their fear. Carl Jung taught that the path of individuation isn't about perfection. It's not about proving anyone wrong or becoming better. It's about becoming whole. Wholeness means sitting with your own contradictions, holding your ambition and your gentleness, grieving those who can't join your next chapter without shrinking the chapter. It means finally coming home to yourself. There's a moment, maybe it has already happened to you, where someone says something subtle. You've changed. You're so full of yourself lately. You used to be more humble, and instead of shrinking, you smile. Not with arrogance, but with clarity, because you have changed, and you've earned it. The version of you that needed constant reassurance, approval, permission, they're still here, but they're not steering anymore. Now, you're led by a deeper knowing. The self. The one Jung called the central archetype of meaning, the organizing principle of the psyche, the part of you that doesn't need validation, because it already is whole. Jung wrote, "The self is not only the center, but also the circumference, which embraces consciousness and the unconscious." So the moment you choose to live from that center, the moment you stop performing and start embodying, you don't just reclaim your power, you reclaim your peace. Let's make it real right now. Breathe. Feel your body. Feel the truth rising in you. You are no longer a hostage to the comfort of others. You don't have to soften your edges to belong. You don't have to silence your brilliance to stay safe. You are not too much. You are not ungrateful. You are not wrong for growing. You are allowed to outgrow old roles. You are allowed to let relationships shift. You are allowed to protect your light, even if they preferred your shadow, because you are not their mirror anymore. You are your own. You are becoming whole. And yes, there will be grief. But beyond that grief, freedom, realignment, peace. Let this be your affirmation. If this resonates, affirm this for yourself in the comments by writing, "I choose my wholeness," or "I will not shrink anymore," or simply, "I am becoming." Let's make that declaration together. Because it matters. Your voice matters. Your path matters. Carl Jung once wrote, "The most important question anyone can ask is, what myth am I living?" So I ask you now, what myth have you outgrown? And what new story are you finally ready to live? You are not broken. You are not wrong. You are awakening. And not everyone will clap. Some will leave. Some will misunderstand. But what you gain is you. Let's carry this insight forward into your real life, into your real voice, into your real becoming. If you've made it here, to the end, something inside you has already shifted. Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's loud, but it's real. You didn't just listen to a video. You walked through a mirror. And what's on the other side is you, unmasked, unapologetic, unshaken. This journey? It's not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the version of you that was buried, under performance, under guilt, under the fear of being too much. Carl Jung taught us, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Today, you looked inside, and something awoke. So take a breath, let that truth settle, and then leave your mark. Comment below. Here's what I'm no longer shrinking for. Whether it's your art, your ambition, your joy, your voice, share it. Write it down, not for me, but for you. Because writing is a ritual, and ritual creates change. And if this resonated deeply, don't keep it inside. Share it. Watch it again when you forget who you are. Send it to someone who's feeling unseen, unheard, uncelebrated. Because we don't heal alone. We heal in truth, together. And join me in our next video, how to stop chasing approval and start becoming whole. In that episode, we'll explore the hidden compulsions behind our need to be liked. Why do we edit ourselves in real time? Why disapproval feels like danger? And how to shift from external validation to inner sovereignty. It's a deep continuation of what we uncovered today, where success meets self-abandonment and where you reclaim the pen. Don't miss it. I'll leave you with this. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. So look inside. Listen. Stay with it. You are not too much. You are just finally full. And we are walking beside you. Until next time, stay awake, stay whole, and stay brave. This is Psychosophy,